What is up everybody, and welcome back to another Among Us video, and in this video we will be covering the legend of NOVISER. A few days ago, a creator by the name of GameTombs posted a video on this mysterious player. I actually managed to encounter NOVISER, and I'm here to tell you what I witnessed. And before we get any further into this video, I do want to mention that 70% of you have not hit that subscribe button, which means that you're missing out on Among Us darkest secrets. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button with all post notifications turned on, and drop a like on this video if you do enjoy. But now let's begin with my encounter with NOVISER, the player without a face. So my first encounter with NOVISER, I was just playing a regular match of Scaled. I joined a public lobby and I saw that there was a player by the name of NOVISER. I've heard a lot of people talk about this user, so I stayed in the game to see if he would do anything. I saw that someone left a message in the chat, so I clicked on it, and NOVISER said NOVISER. The match was about to start, but I was kicked off. I didn't have any internet issues, so I wonder why I was kicked off, but that wasn't my only encounter with him. When I was kicked out of the last lobby, I started up my own match, and I was actually playing with a few of my subscribers, who randomly found me when I started up a public lobby. I didn't notice at first, but NOVISER was in my game once again. My subscribers were asking me in the chat if I was recording, and I let them know that I was just playing some Among Us. And that is when one of Arislor's accounts left a message in the chat. He said, "Gathering your IP addresses. This lobby has been hacked." I have already encountered Arislor several times, so it didn't really bother me. And this mysterious player said NOVISER. That is strange. I then asked in the chat, who is this NOVISER person? This player was already following me in several matches, so I was wondering if anyone knew who he was. Nobody answered my question, so I started the game. When I spawned in, I just went to go do my tasks like a regular crewmate, hoping this game was not actually hacked like Arislor said. When I finished doing one of my wires in storage, I wanted to check in the cafeteria if NOVISER was standing there. He wasn't moving, so I stared at him for a few seconds to see if I could get his attention. He was not moving, so I went to go do my wires and navigation. As I was about to check the admin table, Lime called a meeting. In the chat, NOVISER said NOVISER. Why does he keep saying his name? This is getting really creepy. Nobody was really talking in the meeting, so nobody was ejected. When I spawned in, I went to go do a wire, and I saw NOVISER once again just standing there, from the corner of my eye. I wanted to ignore him this round since he was just being annoying, so I went to go do my task. While I was in electrical, I started to hear someone say NOVISER. And if you play Among Us, you know that voice chats don't exist. So I was walking around really confused. I heard the noise coming from communication, so I made my way over there. But when I walked in, I saw no one. I heard the voice again coming from the right side of the map. I checked O2 and saw nothing. So this voice must have been coming from navigation. I then walked into navigation and I saw NOVISER. Why was he standing above the vent? Was he the imposter? And why wasn't he in the cafeteria? I'm gonna have to keep an eye on him. I walked out of navigation and made my way over to weapons, and I saw Noah doing asteroids. I stayed with him for a little bit just because I knew I could trust him. When Noah finished his asteroids, I started to hear the voice once again. Me and Noah heard the noise, so we walked into navigation together, and NOVISER was nowhere to be seen. He was just there a second ago. Where did he go? A few minutes had passed and I was doing a few tasks in admin, and I started to hear the voice once again. It was coming from communications. At this point, I was getting really irritated. Me and Orange made our way over to communications and no one was in there. And I heard the voice coming from navigation once again. And when we walked in, we saw NOVISER standing above the vent. He randomly disappeared last time, and he appeared in the same location once again. At this point, I was starting to realize that maybe NOVISER was an imposter, or was he just a ghost? I guess we'll find out soon. As I was checking the admin table, communications was sabotaged. I made my way over to communications to fix it, but I saw a bunch of crewmates doing it already. When I walked out of communications, I started to hear the voice once again, but this time it was coming from the left side of the map. As I was making my way to the left side of the map, I could hear the voice coming from electrical. When I walked in with a few crewmates, we saw NOVISER standing in the corner. Why does he keep doing this? I left electrical and I went around the map to see if I could catch him once again. As I was in security, I could hear the voice. I ran out of security and I made my way into electrical. I walked in and saw NOVISER in the same spot that he was before. But as I was staring at him, the reactor went off. I walked into reactor and we managed to fix it. And as I was doing a task, Blue called a meeting. Blue let everyone know that the imposter was NOVISER. The crewmates ended up voting NOVISER out of the lobby, and he was actually the imposter. But why didn't he kill anyone? When we all spawned into the main lobby, NOVISER said NOVISER once again in the chat. I responded with, NOVISER did not kill. Strange. It was now the next round and we all spawned in, and I stood at NOVISER for a few seconds with the rest of the crewmates. I wonder what he's thinking. I went into electrical to do a few of my tasks, and as I was about to walk out, the reactor was called. As I was making my way over to the reactor was fixed, and I could hear the voice again. I heard the voice coming from communications, and I was really scared to walk in. And when I walked in, I saw NOVISER standing in the corner. The entire room got really dark. I was unable to move my player. It was almost as if I was frozen in time. When Green walked in, everything went away. Thank goodness. Green then reported Blue's body, and there was only 3 of us standing. Since I was with NOVISER most of the game, I already knew that he wasn't the imposter, so it had to be Green. Green typed in the chat that the body was in cafe, and I said it was you then. NOVISER then responded with Chari. Is he trying to blame me? But I was with him. I voted for Green, but NOVISER and Green voted for me. NOVISER let the imposter win. When we all spawned into the main lobby, I was honestly pretty upset. NOVISER just responded with the same quote that he always does, and the imposter was laughing. I typed in the chat, this NOVISER person is weird. And that is when NOVISER started to spam his name over and over again. But this time, it was causing my game to glitch. Each message that he sent, my game became laggier and laggier. He spammed the entire chat and caused everyone's game to crash. When I reopened my game, I wanted to hop into a match of free play to see if I could encounter NOVISER. And when I got into the match, I had the option to report a body, but I was in free play. If you ever got into a match of free play, you know that is impossible. And I just spawned in, so I didn't kill any of the dummies. And last time I checked, there is no dummies in cafeteria. I then walked around the entire map trying to look for NOVISER. I walked into electrical, which was one of the areas that I saw him, but he wasn't there. I then made my way over to navigation and walked in, and NOVISER wasn't in the corner that he was last time. But then I started to hear the voice once again. This mysterious voice was coming from communications. So I made my way over to communications, and the room started to get darker and darker. And when I walked in, I could see NOVISER. But this time he had no face. He just had a creepy smile. My game began to glitch, and the room got darker and darker, and everything shut off. When I reopened my game for the second time, I wanted to see if I could spawn NOVISER again, and the same location that I saw him a few seconds ago. I spawned into my free play match and I made my way over to communications, but as I was walking there, my game had a weird glitch effect, almost as if someone hacked my game. I slowly walked into communications, and when I walked in, I saw NOVISER's ghost. But in the last match, he was still alive. Why did he randomly turn into a ghost? As I was trying to process what I was witnessing, NOVISER's ghost started to get closer and closer to me. And as he was getting closer and closer, my game began to glitch, and the room began to get darker and darker. When his ghost touched my body, my game shut off. If you would like me to continue the story of NOVISER, let's see if we can get this video to 20,000 likes. I do also want to give a massive shout out to Kitty King for helping me produce this video. If you would like to help out a smaller creator reach his goal of 10,000 subscribers, make sure to go check out his channel and subscribe to him. And if you're new to the channel and haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And before you go, make sure you check out one of these Among Us story videos that are found on my channel.